Hi, I'm Ayman. Welcome back to one of my videos. And this is going to be another video in our series of raising our chickens from hatchery to henhood, but also in our series on woodworking and DIY. Because today, we're working on our coop. Though there are some clips of our chickens playing over there in the back of the zombie over there. Fun fact, Zombie really likes chickens. We even have pictures of him from childhood with him hanging out with chickens. And as you can see, he's getting back to his roots. And with Bella, too. But today, we're going to be planning out our coop. Now, if you've seen our previous coop updates, we've talked about the front side of the coop that's on the side of the slides. Now we're working on this side, which is the opposite side, and we're trying to figure out exactly what we should do. Because on this side, we're able to expand the coop. And here are the current ideas that we have for our coop. So let's get right to it. Alright, so the first thing we need to know is that due to COVID and the pandemic, the cost of supplies has increased dramatically, which means that our freedom in choosing what exactly we can do and how much wood we can buy is quite limited. So for this project, we're going to try to reuse as much materials as possible. It also helps that we have a ton of wood projects we've already worked on, and in fact, we're actually going to use the playground itself. Alright, so for sake of perspective, let's talk about these poles here. These 4x4x12s, they used to be around $6 to $7 back in pre-COVID times, but now they're like $24. They increased 3 to 4 times their price. These 2x4s by 6, no, these 2x6 by, I forgot their measurements, but they're 2x6s. They were originally $4 and now they're around $10. So their price has increased around 2.5 times. And actually, we can't, these fiberglass roofs that we used for Bella's project, if you haven't watched my video on that, we can't even get these anymore. So we can't use them for this project. So you might also be wondering, so what I'm saying is that resources are limited during the pandemic. And some of you might be wondering, how did we get our poles if they cost so much? You know, $24 and we have 2 poles, that's like $50. A lot of you might say that's crazy. The way that we got these poles actually is from our neighbor. And if you haven't watched our previous videos, let me explain something about my neighbor. You can see that there's a fence set up in the back over there that's bordering our neighbor. And the thing you should know is that our neighbor continuously puts things on the side of the fence. He puts all of his stuff on the side of the fence, which causes it to tilt to our side and almost fall down. So it leaves our fences in a state of disrepair. And what my dad did was he actually bought these poles from our neighbor. Because we didn't have a car that was able to actually take these poles away from like Lowe's or Home Depot, we had to get it from somewhere that was close by. And who would have known? Our neighbor over there actually had some spare poles, and he actually decided to sell it to us for around $8 each. You know, they're a bit crooked and they're a bit lopsided in some parts, but it works pretty fine for our usage. Maybe it doesn't work. It doesn't compensate for all the damage he's done to our fences, but you know, I think this is a step in the right direction. And I'm not one to hold a grudge. The grudge, in fact, is actually more about my dad, because you know, I never really disagreed with the neighbor about the fences. It's really my dad personally. But also, this is not really going to be a DIY video, so just expect a lot of rambling from me in this video. Just a forewarning. But let's get to the plan of the coop. Alright, so already you can get some ideas of what we're going to do with the coop. The first thing we're doing is, of course, expanding the side of the playground a bit further. I think this is about 4 feet away from the original side of the playground. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this a space that is used for both the coop and for storage. So on this side, we're going to be utilizing this mostly for, on this this area, we're going to be utilizing this mostly for storage. We're not exactly sure how we're going to do it quite yet, but all we know is that we need to make sure that we have some storage for things like the feed and extra water, and also anything else that we might need for the chickens. On this side of the new frame that we have, we're also going to use this for the coop, but also we're going to use this because it's so high. We're also going to use it for human access, and we're going to get to that in a bit. But the first thing we need to know is that the reason that we're building this frame here is because whenever you're building something, especially related with wood, you always want to make sure that you build the frame first. And the framework is important because what we're going to do is let me explain the framework first. If you have the framework built first, all the other changes can come later. And this is important because my dad has to spread the building of this coop over a prolonged period of time because he also has to go to work. I also have to go to school, so there's not going to be a lot of time for us to dedicate in one period to the building of this coop. So that means we have to spread out all the things that we're going to add to it over different days, over different periods of time over the months. What I'm saying is that we're just going to add a little bit each time we work on the coop. And that's why the frame is the most important to get done first. Because if you have the frame, you can add pretty much anything else. The frame is the most important part. Now, getting back to my comment about this human space for the coop. Like I said, this area over here is tall enough for a human to enter, especially for my family members because we're quite short, especially for my mom. And the plan is actually on this side we're gonna have a door, a full human-sized door to enter the coop. Whereas on this side of the coop, the one that you can't see, it's a bit hard to access it as a full-grown adult because you have to like crawl and get on your knees and stuff. But here we're gonna be able to access it while standing up, and we're also gonna be able to access the chickens from here. But on this side, we're gonna be able to access the run. And this is important because on this side, we're gonna have a door that is gonna be split into two parts. We're gonna have a top part and a bottom part. I'm not sure what that type of door is called, but basically you're gonna be able to open the top door while keeping the bottom one closed. And the plan is, I'm gonna sort of paint a picture for you. Imagine that the run is in this general area. If we open this top door, we can take some rice or some feed and we can sprinkle it out to the chickens that are waiting outside. And you know, in paper, in the vision, it looks pretty idealistic to me. And I don't think I could really find anything wrong with this idea. Having a door here and having another door here that allows us to throw rice to the chickens. It's kind of my idea of a coop. And over there, you can see we already have a temporary run set up for our chickens. And as you can see, they like it very much. And Bella was playing with them too. And the plan for the run, actually, I should mention, is we're gonna have basically a walk-in run. Like I mentioned, this is also gonna be a door. And when you open both sides of the door, we're gonna be able to access into the run. And if we need to, do whatever needs to be done in the run. I mean, for example, rake up leaves because we have a tree up there. Clean anything that might be in the run. And also I should mention for the run, we're gonna have it fenced in, and the height that we're gonna have fenced on this side is gonna be around 6 feet. But because on this side we have this ladder, or I'm not sure what it's called. I'll call it a rope ladder. Because we have this rope ladder, the fenced-in area can only be around 3 to 4 feet tall. So that means that we're not going to be able to access it, but we can like take a rake and if we need to, just stick it under there. Now then, going back into this area, like I mentioned earlier, the plan is basically for you to enter through the door. There's storage on this side if you need it, and also you're going to be able to access the coop from this section. Basically, there's going to be drawers that I should also mention that on the other side of this, there's going to be the nesting area for the chickens. And when you pull out these drawers, there's going to be eggs to collect from the chickens. So there's a lot to be planned in this coop. I promise you that in the future, we're definitely going to do an update video so you can see exactly what we have in mind. Because maybe I'm not as accurate at describing it as I could be, but let me tell you that in the future, when you actually do view that video of the update, you're going to understand.